Case 8122391, Terry Likens versus the State of Texas, City of Austin. Texting prohibited while driving. My experience. Facts of the case. I was on I-35, of which the lanes are approximately 12 foot wide. The outer shoulder is 10 foot wide, with the inner shoulder being 4. Now, in the lower viaduct, those shoulders narrow and vary in width. Traffic was exceptionally heavy that day, and I'll demonstrate that shortly. And the position of the officer in relevance to the defendant is very important to the facts of this case. And again, evidence will be shown with video later on. And the definition of the law: distracted driving while versus texting while driving. And some comments from the city itself in regarding how they need to focus on the law and be more clear. So, facts of the case as reported by Officer Smith. Officer Smith said he saw me tap my screen 10 times on my phone, and that he saw me turn my Bluetooth off. As you know, if you are beside a car, how would he be able to specifically see me tap my screen, or even what I was turning on and off of my phone? Particularly since he was positioned at the 4, 5, or 5:30 clock position in relationship to me and my car in the direction that I was going, with 12 o'clock being directly in front. And the facts as observed by me, he was positioned about that 4, 5, 5:30 position in relationship to the direction I was going and the front of my car. The temperature in Austin on August 14th was approximately 97 degrees, and it was quite hot. The officer had his helmet up, and I particularly noticed how hot and sweaty his face looked. And as you see, as these helmets are, that they do limit your vision of what you can and can't see. So when we go back and we look at the flow of traffic, on the 14th, Google, I have an Android phone. It regularly checks in with Google, and it showed me at 4:36 just north of Runberg and I-35, or just south of Breaker there, handling some business at the strip there next to Whataburger. At 5:30, it shows me just south of Austin, and I had not even made it to Ben White Boulevard yet. I just made it past Oltorf in 1 hour. So during that short amount of distance, obviously there was some traffic for it to take an hour to get that far. During that time, at 5 o'clock, or approximately 5 o'clock, I did receive 3 incoming messages while I was listening to my music through Spotify, which does stream Bluetooth to my Ford Touch, and I was listening to it. I received those notifications, and it had made a indicating sound on my Ford Touch. I had not hit the do not disturb, so in doing that, while I was stopped at a complete stop on I-35, I looked at my phone, picked up my phone, looked at it, set it down to make sure that it wasn't an emergency, and then I reached and I hit the do not disturb on my dashboard. That stops any type of notification as incoming messages would come in, or calls. And this is what it looks like. What had happened is, during the day, I had forgot to hit the do not disturb sign before I left on my trip. and to the right is where you would see where I would hit the do not disturb. And basically what happens is it will continue to stream music if I have that selected as an input, and it would not be interrupted with phone calls or IMs. And the message in the photo at the bottom is my car, to kind of give you an idea, as if it was sitting in a lane, and the space next to it is, we'll just say that is a parking lane, or a highway lane, for instance, to kind of give you an idea what it'll look like. So this is what it would have looked like at the 3 o'clock position had my windows had been up. And back to the 4 o'clock position, 5 o'clock position. As you see, you cannot even see the driver's seat there. So I did have the windows down, and here we go from the 5:30 position, and this is what the officer would have seen. As you see, that seat right there is the passenger seat. My seat's over here, and I would have been in here. So if my hands were up and anything, it would have been blocked by this pillar. So let's look. So that is the 5:30, 5 o'clock position, 4 o'clock position, walking up on the 3 o'clock position. So there he would have seen me at the 3 o'clock position. So now, understanding that if he was not directly beside me, he wouldn't have seen what I've tapped or anything like that. So let's look at the law. The law currently states that, as for the state, there is no ban of texting while driving or cell phone usage. Now, local restrictions as of February 12th have enacted ordinances prohibiting texting while driving. Austin is one of those cities. But one of the interesting parts about that is that if I am parked at a dead standstill, I'm allowed to utilize my phone. And if we were to assume that Officer Smith would have saw me tap 10 digits, which happens to be a telephone number, that would have been legal. This has become such an issue that the city of Austin recently had a session about how this is becoming a problem. And Bianca Benzine of the city of Austin presented to the city council a presentation about distracted driving, which is distinctly different from driving while texting. The city council was advised and educated about distracted driving, not texting while driving. It's common sense, and it's a sense of entitlement when people text or are distracted, figuring everyone will get out of the way. And when you compare Austin to the other cities have detailed definition sections. They address the issue of distracted driving, not texting while driving. They have anticipated future issues, devices on the lap, etc. They address young drivers, and they address limit exceptions to those which are true emergencies. So the recommended changes are to the current city code was to expand ordinance to address electronic devices as opposed to limiting to wireless communication devices. having more detailed definitions regarding the unsafe and illegal conduct, and to consider passing a hands-free law. You can learn more about the details of what the city was doing or other information regarding as I presented here.